What was that?
This video is brought to you by the Spider Combat Arena. Support the Kickstarter today.
Oh my goodness. So everyone keeps asking me, Lucas, who are you going to vote for? Who are you going to vote for? And I've said when it comes to Trump versus Biden, there's a litany of things that you have to take into account, or at least I do. When it comes to Trump is very much a narcissistic egomaniac. And I don't have an issue with that. If that's who you are, then that's who you are. He's, 80, almost 80 something. He's not changing anytime soon. However, having said that, a vote for him is going to heavily depend on who he has around him, because Trump is very much a leaf in the wind. If you give him adulation, if you give him praise, he'll do, what's in line with what you want, or what you ask of him. If he has like a VP, like a Vivek, or any one of these anti-black racists or these white nationalists, that's going to be an automatic no. It's not a risk worth it. But at the same time, it feels like black Americans in this country are being treated like a ping pong ball. That's what it feels like. I don't know about y'all, but that's how I feel like. Because it's saying, hey, vote for me, don't vote for the other guy. The other person saying, vote for me, don't vote for the other guy, because of all their cons, all their negatives, and the other person saying, well, all their cons and all their negatives. In the meantime, between time, no one's offering anything. I saw Trump speak at the Black Conservative Federation. Never heard of that before in my life. And to be honest with you, it seems like a scam. It seems like exactly what I told the black Americans to start to do when it comes to playing the game, where it's like, hey, how, the white nationalists and the racists have their TPUSA. Well, we need to have something that we can funnel people in, that we can say, hey, we have this amount of people. If you come here, we can get, that'll manifest into this amount of votes. That'll manifest to this population, yada, 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 something. Because they have all these scam organizations, all these, charities and everything. And, you have to play the game. Nevertheless, you have this Black Conservative Federation. The problem is the conservatives that they're bringing up are the Tim Scotts, are the CJ, Pearsons and his corpulent self. You're having all of these anti-black conservatives, and that doesn't benefit anyone. So when it comes to Trump's speech, I was aggressively unimpressed. And because I have to be honest with you, what I was expecting was him to come out and be like, yo, here's the platinum plan. Now, I know I wasn't able to do it in the last election because, some shady business that went on. But this time, we're bringing out the platinum plan. But we're going to have to come bigger and better because, I'm Trump, make America great again. We got to make a black America great again. And we're going to come out with the Platinum Plan 2.0, right? Something like that. But he didn't say anything. And the issue I have is that the majority of his speech was just jokes and past. That's all it was. He kept on talking about his past. Hey, I did, lowest unemployment for black Americans, yada, yada. Would you rather have the white president who does this or the black president who does this? I'm like, that's not how you communicate. You're not going to pit black Americans, Biden, or not Biden, but Obama versus you. That's not how you go about it. All of his little quips and everything, all I can see are blacks, no whites here and everything, just the blacks. None of what he said was reinforced by any policy. And that's the issue I have. It was a bunch of jokes. It was like an SNL skit. And I'm like, what am I going to do with that? How are black conservatives, actual black conservatives, how are they going to sell that to the black community? They can't, because there's nothing there. There's nothing of substance there. And then he goes on to talk about IVF. I'm sorry. What the hell does that have to do with the black community? What does that have to do with black Americans? Not a damn thing. Like, what are we talking about? Of all the things, if he could have hinted at reparations. He could have talked about a black crime bill. There's a variety of things he could have suggested, alluded to, hinted at, teased, something. But there was nothing. There was not one policy he mentioned that would, as far as have a significant impact on black Americans. None. I'm glad that, the economy is doing great. That's awesome. But what about black Americans? I don't know what to tell you. And the reason why I say that is because obviously you're going to have those people who are talking about, well, Lucas, what about the Biden, all right? What did Biden promise y'all, okay? What has Biden done for y'all? And that's not the point. What is happening here is sales. And for those of you who don't have any sales background, no sales understanding, keep quiet and pay attention. Because if you're trying to sell something, you don't give a 5-hour-long rant about the ops. If you have something that is trying to compete with Kleenex, you don't talk constantly about, oh, Kleenex doesn't do this, Kleenex doesn't do that, Kleenex doesn't do that, because no one cares. If someone is looking for a different product than Kleenex, then you have to meet them where they are. If we already know what is going on with the Democrats, the history of the Democrat Party, KKK, we already know that, then your job is to tell us why we should vote for you. And if the only reason we should vote for you is because you're not the other guy, then that's not a reason, okay? That's not a reason. And this is the problem I have. This is that excuse of inaction. That's what that is. That's an excuse of inaction. Well, I'm not going to do anything, but look at how bad that guy's doing. Look at how that guy's treating you. Okay, I get that. I understand. We got problems here. I understand. What do you offer? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Then why would I vote for you? So the issue I have, and the issue I've always had, is that when it comes to black community, when it comes to black America, these mofos don't have any qualms about constantly trying to put our history in our face, try to put our problems in our face, trying to put our pain in our face, trying to put our situations in our face. But yet they don't offer any solution. They'll be more than happy to criticize about Chicago and, the education. Look, black people can't read all that. But when it's like, okay, well, what do you advise? Are you going to do any outreach in Chicago? Are you going to bring any politicians that have a better plan? Are you going to talk to the community? What do you advise for education? How are you going to go for that? What do you advise for health? Nothing. So then it boils down to, well, then you just know black people through stereotypes. And that's what many of these, these white people in the Republican Party, many of the saltines there, that's all they know them through. That brings a barrier of connection. That brings a barrier of action. Because if you just believe, oh, they just criminals, okay, then there's nothing we're going to do, then what's the point? Like, what are you doing? What are you doing in this space? Now, I say that to say this, because if you juxtapose how he was talking to the black, conservative federation versus how he was talking to the Jewish coalition is night and day. It's a stark contrast. He's talking jokey jokes and all this, but when you come to the Jewish coalition, he's talking about how he's going to terminate the visas of Hamas supporters. That's what he said. That not only is he going to terminate the visas, he's going to get them out of the country, kick them out of the country, get them out of the colleges. And sure enough, what did Trump do when he was in office? He did an EO when it came to college campuses. Complete violation of freedom of speech. As we can see when it came to the Harvard situation. Complete violation of freedom of speech. But you had all the Republicans who are bending over to Israel.
And when we return to the White House, we, not me, we're going to return, all of us together. We're going to return, and that's why I love that you're working on caucus with us. We'll terminate the visas of all of Hamas sympathizers, and we'll get them off our college campuses, out of our cities, and get them the hell out of our country, if that's okay with you.
So he's talking about, hey, I understand we're not going to allow that. We're going to get these people out of the country, out of your college campuses. We're going to terminate their visas. If they even think about Hamas or say anything that's possibly could be perceived as favorable to Hamas. In the meantime, between time, what do black Americans get? We getting jokes. We getting IVF. Something going on in Alabama, which wasn't even as far as a black family. So that's the issue I have. That's the issue I have. And I think what people should have done is shouted out, what about policy? What about reparations? What about a black hate crime bill? Something. In the meantime, you have a whole bunch of Sambos who are feeding this man, once again, praise. But they don't represent the majority of black Americans. They don't. Because when it comes to us, it says, well, it has nothing to do with black Americans. Usually we should just do policies that benefit all Americans. But we see that's not the same energy they give when it comes to the Jewish coalition. That's not the same energy they give when it comes to the Asian coalition, when their conferences. They give them policies. They say, hey, let me tell you, this is what I'm going to do. I know you guys are under attack. Let me show you. Now, black people who are clearly under attack, hey, we've been under attack since we got here in this country. We get jokes. That's what we get. We get IVF. We get talk about the history of what you did prior. What you did prior is great. That has nothing to do, has no bearing on what we need today. That makes no sense. That's like buying something from Best Buy on Tuesday and then going back to the store on Wednesday and trying to take something. And then when security stops you, saying, well, y'all know I bought something from you on Tuesday. I supported you guys. They're like, that's great, but you gotta pay for this today. There is no rollover. That's not how that works. So I'm sick and tired of the hypocrisy. I'm sick and tired of this, once again, this duality, where you talk to Black Americans like we're children, and then you talk to everyone else like they're adults, and they're like, oh, policy, policy, policy. And then the issue is the representation. Because the only way he gets away in talking like that with his speech is if the people allow that to happen. That's the only way. And you have all these Sambos who got all these grins and everything, just do. And it's like, well, you're not doing anything for the group. You're not doing anything for the country. As of right now, I can't do anything with that. Trump, yeah, he's funny, right? If I want to see him on an SNL skit, if I want to see him on Mad TV, by all means. But as far as president that's going to benefit Black Americans, that's going to give us something in return for our vote, jokes doesn't cut it. Anyways, guys, that's the video. Let me know what you guys think. Whether or not you believe, what happened to you, all right? What happened? You were a Trumper, okay? What happened to you? What's going on to you, man? All right? You got to vote for the man. You got to vote for him. Or if you don't believe, listen, all things shall pass. That's how that works. Just because you have my support during this period of time doesn't mean that rolls over into another period of time, especially when you're not saying the same things that you were back in 2016. So, what do you want me to do? I don't know. You're tying my hands. You have to give people a reason to vote for you. And if the option is, well, I'm just not the other guy, that's not a substantial, it's not a substantial argument to me. I don't find that to be coherent at all. But that's just me. You do you. Nevertheless, if you happen to disagree, you're more than welcome to call in during Disagreement Day, which typically held is Friday through Sunday. There'll be a number on the screen. You call in. We duke it out. Either or, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to like, share, comment. Let me know what you guys think. You're voting for him? Was that the Black Conservative Federation speech? Was that, did that, resonate with you? Let me know what you all think. But until, next time, please feel free to share and subscribe. And that fun stuff. Till next time, guys, be amazing. He's talking jokey jokes and all this